So it's an absolute pleasure to be here and be invited into the gaff of Elementary Tech to talk about some of the great work they've been doing around research and impact around some of their stuff. So Christina, pleasure. How are we doing?
I'm good, thank you. It's nice to have you back, Stephen. Or Steve. Stephen was very formal there. I've gone back to my
close
teacher
enough
days.
to Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I've been good. Yourself?
Terrible. Awful.
That's
Awful.
not true.
No, it's a great time. And things have been busy, but it's good to be back in Leeds. And even though I'm not working from home, not too far away.
It's the motherland, isn't it? And I'm saying that as somebody who doesn't originate from Leeds, but it is home for almost more than my birth home. So
it is, and what a lovely segue to be in Leeds, right next to Leeds Bradford Airport, and a story of impact from a local school in Bradford. So should we step into that a little bit in terms of some of the work that you've been doing with the DFE and Fiona Aubrey-Smith, in terms of some of the work that you've been doing, the stepping into that and the research and the impact that you've got out of it. So where is it? What does it look like?
Wow, where is it? I want to say we're well into the journey, but the problem is the further into the journey we get, the further from the end we get as well, because it's, it just keeps growing. So yeah, really fortunate to be involved in this project. As say, a local school, Bradford, small primary school, so 15 children per year group, and looking at a real story of digital transformation. So this school had some technology. It was very aging. It wasn't interactive. It took so long to power up. You know, we're talking lessons where, okay, we're going to go to the computer suite. And by the time they got up there, tried to get everything started, it was time to turn around and go back again. So yeah, we've been working with this school, Keelham, for coming up to a year now. Wow. And looking at what they wanted to achieve. And that's the really big thing. It wasn't just, our technology's not working anymore, we need to replace it. It was about, whoa, put the brakes on, which as a previous educator, in education, we don't put the brakes on. Everything has to happen now. We don't have time to think that's broken, we need to replace it. We need to do this, let's do it now. So put the brakes on and decided what it was that they wanted to achieve. So they've done this in partnership with Keelham. The head teacher, Rob, he, very humble man, I'm sure he won't mind me saying that, but he doesn't think what's been going on is necessarily a big deal, but it really is. And it's happened because of his vision. He wanted to really transform education at Keelham. And the work we've been doing with him, and as you say, Fiona Aubrey-Smith, proper fangirl moment, because I was just like, yeah, I love her. Looking at, okay, so this is what we want to achieve. This is how we're going to do it. And then what is the impact? I'm sure yourself, other people have seen times where there's been a big investment made into, be it technology or another school project, and it starts to slow down. Traction starts to slow, and actually it doesn't have the impact that the school have really wanted. So we've been working with Fiona, looking at the impact and to make sure it's been a really evidence-informed project. So actually what is happening, talking to the teachers, talking to the pupils, talking to the governors, the school leaders, and finding out how is it impacted on their personal journey, whether that's as a teacher, as a parent, as a governor, as a child, how is it impacting on education? And we're not just talking results here. Everybody wants to hear, I've done this and it's increased results by X percent. It's been looking beyond that. So workforce impact, so retention, work-life balance. We know it's so important at the moment. Well, it's always been important, but it's really, really on the agenda at the moment. And looking at, how can we help teachers? How is the technology helping? It's not just something else to add to the pile. It's not something that, I need to learn this and I need to learn this and I need to do this. And Mr. Hunter, Rob, is not going to be walking around doing a checklist of, am I doing X, Y, and Z? It's about embedding the technology into practice. And that's what we're seeing, because it's been so well planned, so well thought out, and we're continuing to focus on those little moments. So from school business management point of view, Katie, how is this impacting on me and the budget? So hundreds of pounds of print costs, whether that's the paper, whether that's the actual prints coming out of the photocopier, whether it's the ink, savings on, and this, anybody in education knows this is a thing that happens. People outside of education can't quite believe it. Sticking paper on paper into an exercise book. So printing out a sheet and then getting that sheet and sticking it into an exercise book. So looking at cost savings there, looking at efficiencies. So how long, by having this technology, whether it's front of class technology, whether it's pupil devices, whether it's teacher laptops and teacher desktops, how much time is that saving me in my preparation? Because we're not waiting half an hour for a device to start. We're not having to struggle in our lessons by thinking we're going to have some level of interactivity and it's gone suddenly, so then we have to change our plans. We're not having to spend 15 minutes every day at the photocopier waiting for one lesson's worth of work to come out. So yeah, it's looking at that really big picture, and working with Fiona has been amazing. Anybody who's had the pleasure of her company knows she is all about that research and that EdTech to PedTech. It's not just about the technology, it's about the impact with regards to pedagogy. So yeah, it's been a real pleasure to be involved in this project and see this transformation. And actually, every time we get to what we think is not necessarily a finishing point, but kind of almost a full stop, that full stop turns into a comma. And we keep going, or it's an ellipsis, so what next? And yeah, as we've changed into the next academic year, the kind of focus has moved beyond that initial transformation of getting staff comfortable with the technology in their school now, and the pupils as well, to then actually, how is that really going to make a difference? How is that going to support our teachers to be more creative, our pupils to record their learning beyond a word processing activity, or a go online and search for something, or using a app for example, a maths exercise? How can we move that beyond that to the point that it's beginning to really transform what's happening in our classroom?
Yeah, I think the great thing about the research and the work that's been done is, yes, it's a primary school, yes, it's a local authority, but actually, how can it be applied to any context? Any school can achieve it, depending, yes, it's the whole tech stack, but actually, depending, elementary technology and the work that's been done shows that you can meet where they're at, and actually the bits that you can, yes, you can purchase that, but actually, it's about actually the whole holistic education tech stack and applying it to any sector, any trust, any school, and actually then that planning, that choosing what they actually need, and then application to context and what they want to achieve from it can be related to them. Yes, this research focuses on some areas, but actually there's a bigger picture there of we can apply this to any context now that the research has been done.
Yeah, 100%, and that's it. Yes, okay, there perhaps was some funding that helped to accelerate this project. I believe without that Rob, with his vision, would have achieved it in some way. And then you're right, it's not about having the shiny latest new thing or having to spend a huge amount of money investing in this. It's about looking at, and this is the bit where I kind of go like, internal squirm, because it's the using, and that's kind of where I've come into the project really, is looking at how I can support the teachers to achieve what they want to achieve. How can I support Rob in achieving what he wants to achieve, and that kind of training. And we all know a one-off day is great for getting out of the classroom, but actually it's ongoing support that's been needed, and kind of where I have been fortunate enough to be able to become a real part of the school, to the point that I go in now and the children know me. I've got a couple of children that share the same birthday, and every time they see me, they're like, we've got the same birthday, and it's that real community feel. And it is possible to achieve what Keelham kind of have achieved and are achieving, even without that kind of initial, right, okay, let's do something new. Actually, what have we got in our classroom now? Have we got Chromebooks that we can use? Have we got a piece of software that we are paying for but not really utilising to the best effect? Have we got front of class technology that is ultimately being as a big projection screen? And how can we make the most of that? How can we make that link between the current pupil device got now and the front of class technologies. How can we rip apart our curriculum and look at how we're going to use the technologies to support really creative ways of recording learning and demonstrating impact on outcomes for pupils and pupil well-being and pupil approach to their learning. So teachers are commenting, for example, that they're getting through more learning more quickly. Pupils are then saying, actually, I really want to come to school because I know that this technology is going to be there. And Bradford, it's so diverse, and there are some children in the Keelham community that have these technologies at home. There are some that don't. So actually, the looking at how to use the technology is really bridging that digital divide and ensuring that there's digital equity for all of those pupils in that school, so that when they go to high school and on to lifelong learning, be it careers, further education, etc., that they don't miss out on those skills that perhaps students that have got that technology at home will just get access to because it's there anyway. So it's definitely something that anybody can achieve with the vision and the plan, and then that commitment to transforming learning through the use of digital technology. Well, technology, of course, it's digital.
So a small snippet and a capture of some of the stuff that's been doing, but how do people hear more? So I hear there's an event at Keelham.
Yeah, there is. We're really excited. I know the team at Keelham are a little bit nervous. I keep telling them not to be, and they just don't think anybody wants to really hear because they see it as a bit showing off. It's not showing off. They are hosting an event on the 3rd of December. There's a morning event and an afternoon event, just 2 hours, and there's something for everybody, whether you're a school leader, head teacher, curriculum leader, to come and listen and hear the teachers and the leaders talk about their passion and how and why they wanted to achieve it. If you're a class teacher, there's something there for you. If you're a school business teacher, something there for you. And we've got the wonderful Fiona Aubrey-Smith joining us online because she's a very busy woman and she wanted to come to Bradford, but she was going to be here for about 2 hours and it was going to take her about 12 hours to do that journey. So we were like, let's make life easier for you. Let's do it remotely. Rob will be sharing some of his story. We're going to get the pupils sharing their story as well. And just have that time. We don't have time as educators, as school leaders, as business managers to sit, listen to that good practice and listen to other people's practice that they might just take away a tiny bit of, something in there for everyone. So yeah, it'd be great if anybody wants to come and join us. I want to say it's 9:30 and 2 o'clock. I'll get those times out. But yeah, it's a really good event and Keelham is a beautiful little school to visit. So
3rd December, Keelham, get booked on. There'll be a link in the show notes. Absolutely, and everything else, get onto that. And if they can't attend that, how do they go about hearing how they can start on the journey? How do they get a classroom health check that you mentioned? Yeah, so that's kind of where it started, was the health check, walking around, having a look at what's in place, kind of using that red, amber, green rating. Get in touch with us here at Elementary Technology. It's obviously we'll be sharing the reports and snippets from the day, but the classroom health check is something that we offer to support schools. So we go into classrooms, halls, meeting rooms, and it just gives a really good overview of the technology you've got in school. We try and get pupil voice as well. We kind of ask, sounds a bit maybe strange, but for lessons to be taking place whilst we do it. So we can see, teachers I know, you'd have a tech issue and just be like, I haven't got time to report it right now. So you just kind of carry on, you make do, don't you? And as a head, how do you know if that's happening? You don't. So seeing the tech in action, seeing what's working, what's not working, getting the voice of the stakeholders in terms of, and then feeding that back in a very positive way in terms of like, this is working really well. You've got some great practice here, there. There seems to be an issue in this classroom. Is it just a cabling issue? Or actually, is there a need to kind of look and plan and then choose what you might need to do to address any kind of, let's just say, red technology. And that's something we offer free of charge because we want to help schools identify where they are now. They know where they want to be and ultimately help them get there. Fantastic. Go check it out.
Absolutely, yeah. We'd love to see as many people there as possible.
Cheers, Chris.
Cool.